down at the First
I
Fridays. So generally one loss of those, and obviously over the past weekend we lost a lot of people in Ohio and down and was it Texas down in El Paso. So wanted to just definitely put that out there, and our hearts and prayers are definitely with those who mourn and things like that. But today we want to start off this show. We got a gentleman that's in the studio here. That's a good friend of mine. That's here for a great cause. And without further ado, we want to introduce him. His brother's name is Brother Leo Roberts, and he wants to just kind of jump in here real quick. We got a full show for you. Just stay tuned in, and we're gonna go ahead and hop in there. So, is it all right? Well, without further ado, I'll go ahead and just wait on someone. Cool. All right. So, all right, my man. We got Leo. Leo, how you doing, sir?
Man, I'm doing great. Tell God thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
I'm doing great.
Glad to have you here, man. Glad for you to be here. It's been a long time.
I know.
We've been hitting and missing, trying to get you situated, man. But I'm glad that you're in the studio with us today. So, and you got a guest coming in. We'll get his story in a little bit, but. Brother, you got something going on, man. We want to get a little bit of background from you and what you got going on. What's going on with you?
First of all, I would tell the Almighty God thank you for bringing me to the show today. A little bit about me. My name is Leo Roberts. Everybody know me. As everybody know me, my name is Leo Roberts.
Yeah.
I'm from West Africa, Liberia.
Okay.
That's where I'm from.
Okay.
And I would say to all my people from Metro Tech, thank you. And I will get a shout out to Metro Tech because when I came to this country, that's what I went to school with.
Yeah.
High school. And they treated me right.
Yeah.
And I hope all my Metro Tech people watching today.
Please.
Yeah. Please watch.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. But like I said, I'm going to introduce myself first. My name is Leo Roberts. I live in Kansas City, Missouri, from West Africa, Liberia. And from West Africa, Liberia. I'm here today to talk about these little kids. If you can see them right here, they are kids that go to school in Africa, and I'm here to support them. I got my best friend of mine here named Calvin. He's a minister. He's a preacher, and he will be here today helping me, talking about this whole school stuff. If you got a question for us, you can go and ask, and if you can call in and ask us, that we'd be glad to answer a question.
Okay. So what it sounds like, you said you got a school that you're starting up, man. It's sounds like what it is. You got a school starting up over in Liberia, right?
Yeah, it's a school.
Okay.
It's a school. It's called Bright Future.
Okay.
Academy.
Absolutely.
And which goes on, we would know more about it as you ask me a question.
Okay.
It's not my school. It's a school that I took upon myself to give back.
Absolutely.
To help these kids back home because I came in '93, went to Metro Tech High School, and I had the opportunity to go to school to one of the best schools in Kansas City.
Metro.
So Metro Tech, yeah. So give it up for Metro. Woo, woo.
Yeah.
But anyway, and these kids don't have that type of opportunity, so they need that help. So everybody watching today, I hope they can listen real, careful.
Yeah.
And then we can explain some things that we got to tell them.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's dope, man. Obviously, I went to Metro. We came out the same year, '97. And it's interesting, man, because I look back at some of the things that we had at school, and we kind of didn't really take advantage of it, man. Some people, we had aviation and auto mechanics and stuff.
Yeah.
We didn't take advantage of that, but right now we have an opportunity to take advantage of what you're doing with back home.
Yeah.
So how can people take advantage of that, brother? How can people get involved in what you're working on?
This was the reason why you guys. I know you saw me. You the one reached out to me. I was in Africa, and I went in February. Mm-hmm. And then, first of all, the first time I went to Africa, I came here. I was very young when I came here. So when I went back in 2017 to go, my father had passed away in D.C. We took his body back in Liberia, and a friend of mine wanted to go pick up his son from the school, and I had to follow him down there, and I saw the school, the condition the school was in. So for myself, I know I'm from Liberia myself, so I had to give back. I had to do something. So I had to come out with something, and I took upon myself to take the opportunity to try to give back to the kids.
Right on, right
So
on.
that's why I got connect with them.
Good deal, man. That's dope. Right on, man. We got another guest that just joined us. So, all right, we got a full house.
Yeah.
We got a full house.
Yeah.
So, how can people connect with you on that, brother? How can people connect and do what that they need to do to help you out?
Actually, I got the school a while back. I was looking for a way to try to connect with the kids, and the school itself for they got a little GoFundMe bank account in Liberia called I got it on my phone here real quick.
Okay.
If I can go in here.
Well, while you getting that together, why you go ahead, go ahead and get that together.
I'm gonna go
man,
and get it together
so
real
you
quick.
can get your information.
Okay.
And your guest that you brought in here, my man, Kevin.
Yeah.
Kevin. Okay,
Yes.
Kevin. Kevin, how are you?
Oh, I'm good. How you doing?
Good,
Thank
man.
you, brother.
Good. Glad for you to be here. Now, what's kind of your position and what Leo's doing and everything?
Well, like he said, I'm a deacon at Forest Avenue.
Okay.
I also minister. I got a street ministry. Sent One Ministries is my ministry, and I'm a Christian rapper as well.
Okay.
So part of my ministry is trying to give back not only to my community, but I'm helping kids in Africa and other places where they're starving with money or they might be hungry or whatever I can do to help. One of the things I want to do here in Kansas City is help the young men that are in the streets that are struggling, they dying left and right, and they don't have nobody to look up to.
Absolutely.
I want to be that person to lead them to Christ.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
me and Leo, we got something coming up August the 24th at the City Union Mission. I currently work there. I run the mission at nighttime.
Okay.
So one of the things we got is a big show from 1 to 3. We're going to give away a bunch of backpacks, clothes, pencils, everything kids need.
Yeah.
August 24th at 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock.
Okay.
And it'll be at 1108 East 10th Street.
Okay.
So
okay. That's dope, man. I think the conversation that we're talking about really just was really giving back and how do we move forward, you
Yes.
know? And right now we're in a situation where everybody's kind of everywhere, where everybody's everywhere and up in arms and things like that. So that's really why I reached out to kind of everybody here, and we have someone call here in a little bit that's a counselor, and a psychologist, and things like that.
wow.
You know, and deals with grief and just going through certain things in your life and depression.
Yeah.
But I also reached out to a young lady that's sitting here to my left. How are you today?
Good. Thank you for the young lady part.
Awesome. I'm going to let you introduce yourself and who you are.
Okay. Well, my name is Velia. First of all, thank you for the invitation.
Yes,
my name
ma'am.
is Velia Chavez, and I'm very involved in the community. I work for a local Spanish language TV station, and so on a daily basis, I get to work one-on-one with the community and hear about some of the concerns that occur in our community.
Yeah.
And it's a pleasure for me to be here. Sorry, I'm a little late, but
No, you're good. You're actually perfect. Right on time. Yeah, thank you for responding back. I really appreciate that because, oftentimes we hear it coming from our community, from us, and to reach out to the Spanish community and things like that to find out, what it is that maybe you guys are how are you feeling as we go through, whatever we've gone through.
how I'm feeling, I feel a lot of things, a lot of emotions.
Right.
It's crazy, especially with what happened this weekend.
Right.
I'm originally from El Paso. I was born in El Paso, and I was raised in Kansas City, but I have my grandmother, my aunts, my uncles, my cousins, all of my family in El Paso. So when I found out about this on the news, I was almost like in shock and almost in denial that this was actually happening in my hometown.
Absolutely.
You always hear about it happening in other cities, and there's really no connection there. So you feel sad, but it's not the same kind of.
Are you comfortable?
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
fine. But it's
Yeah.
not the same impact
Absolutely.
as when you're this is so close to your family and your loved ones. And I was recently in El Paso in December, and we were staying just a few blocks away from that Walmart. We actually stopped at that Walmart.
Wow.
And then later on, I found out that one of my second cousins, her son was actually working at that Walmart when the incident happened. And so it really hit home, and it's really sad. But the irony is that the person that attacked the Walmart that
Right.
had this attack on on specifically Hispanics,
Right.
the Hispanic invasion, how they're referring to it.
Right.
The irony is that when I go back to El Paso now, back in the day when I was living there when I was a kid, it was like mostly Hispanics there. And now when I go, it's actually more diverse than it's ever been. So it's actually like, how is this happening? We've come a long ways.
Absolutely.
We've evolved, and it's actually a more diverse city, but it's being attacked just because it's on the border. And up until this point, El Paso has been considered one of America's safest cities to live in.
Yeah.
And so,
You know, it's funny you said that, because that is true. You know, oftentimes when we sit there and we say, talked about the different communities and things like that, it's like, you know, obviously in the inner city, the crime is a little different than in the suburbs, things like that. So people say, you know, this shouldn't have happened here, you know, and the suburbs say, well, this never happens here, but crime happens everywhere. And it's a true testament to nowadays that we, the climate that we're in, you know, and it's been said a lot of times that, you know, and they say, well, Trump is stirring up a lot of this stuff and everything. And to be honest, it just, I mean, there's really no way of getting around it. And I always say that, you know, you put the blame on, you know, whoever the blame is put on. Don't shift the blame. And you know, if it's a mental disorder, you know, claim it as that. If it's somebody that's just an evil person that's out to kill people with a premeditated motive, then call it what it is. You know, it's not mental illness. It means he's a terrorist. he's a murderer. You know, call it what it is. You know, I think right now is the time that we have to pull the shade back and just call it for what it is and leave it at that. Leo, did you get the information, brother?
Yes, I did.
Okay, go ahead and tell us what.
To donate to the kids back home, they got their own bank account, which would be UBA Bank. The SWIFT code account would be CITIUS33. The account number is 0210000089. Once again, the SWIFT account would be C as in cat, I as in Isaac, T as in Tom, I as in Isaac, U as in Uriah, S as in Sam, 33. That's a SWIFT account.
There it is.
If you got some more questions to ask me, and I got a lot to answer for you.
There it is. That's kind of Leo. He's, like I said in the beginning of the show, he's from Liberia, and he's reaching back to his community. He's helping his community. They're starting a school for the kids and things like that, and asking people to donate to get the school together, and also for the education of the young people that are there. So. Man, I'll keep on calling you Calvin, man. Kevin. I don't know why you want to call you. I'm just Kevin.
That's Calvin.
So, what is your hand in, and what is it? You said you're a minister, and you know you've been from the streets.
Right. Yeah.
You know
I started in the streets. We actually used to do secular music together at one point, and we began. God transformed my life about 5 years ago. I was rapping with people like Lil Scrappy, Young Jeezy, and I was just caught up in the drugs and stuff, and I got tired of that old life.
Yeah.
And God put a calling on my life, and I gave my life to God, and He just began to open doors for me. And He put this name, Sent One, in my heart. It comes from Isaiah chapter 6, verse 8, where it talks about God saying, "Send me, and I'll go." Is it there one that will send me? Yeah. And I will be that one that I want God to send. Yeah. Wherever He send me, I'm willing to go. Yeah. So I talked to Leo once I got my music started, the ministry. I said, "Hey man, is there anything I can do for the people back in Africa? You know, our people." He said, "Man, we actually building a school." I was like, that was right on time.
Yeah.
And then I told him what I was doing, and then we linked up our first actual show. We did a gospel fest on 53rd in Brooklyn, roughly a month ago. We was invited to that.
That's that one.
Yeah, and it was really nice. God really blessed it. So
that's good. Yeah, it takes everybody, man. I think right now it's time to pull together, not pull apart.
Yes.
You know, and I know when you know Donald Trump, when President Trump's, you know, however people want to respond to 45 or whatever want. Yeah. But when he was in office, you know, one of his goals was to build the wall. You know, right. And I always say that he physically didn't build the wall, but what he's doing is he's building barriers between people. You know, and if he can build build barriers between people, where it be if he can, build it between the Muslims and Hispanics or the, the Asians and the blacks, if he can build, if those walls can be built, using, just hatred, man. You know what I'm saying? If those walls can be built like that, then you don't need to build a wall because you've already built those barriers
inside that person.
That person.
Deep.
You know what I'm saying?
You're right.
And in one way is, and I always say the thing, is divide and conquer. You know what I'm saying? If you can divide the people, then you can take the people and pick them off. Go ahead, brother. What you want to say?
That's so funny for you to tell the president. Right now, they got a lot of stuff going on in Liberia right now. Liberia is, if everybody can Google it, it's actually like dead as United States.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
It's the free slave that left from here in 1847. That's how Liberia becomes to be.
Yeah.
And right now, the president we got right now is George Weah. Okay. He doing his best to bring the country together.
Yeah.
But then politicians, they got a lot of stuff going on that we'll be talking. Somebody will get here, talk bad about this guy, but he doing his best.
Yeah.
And for me right now, I'm not into that politics stuff.
Sure.
My goal is to help these kids. That's my goal.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And these kids, you got teachers over there that literally donate their time to go teach. They only make like $40 a month.
Yeah.
Wow. We use that at press shop to buy candy.
Yeah.
In a week.
In
a couple of days.
In a day. I just spend $50 just leaving my house.
Yeah.
So that's what people make in a month.
Yeah.
So these people, it's just not about the kids, but the teachers. They're helping these kids to learn to be what they need to be.
Absolutely.
So, like I said, if everybody watching the show today, I hope they can just listen and go into your heart. The money is not coming to me; it going straight to their account.
That's right.
And like I said, I just give the account number to everybody, and if they need it, they can always hit me on Facebook.
Yeah.
They can call my phone. I can give you my phone. I can get them my phone number. They can call me anytime.
Yeah.
I don't have no problem with that.
Cool.
But it's all about the kids. For me, all that politics, everybody get on Facebook and talk about who did that, blah blah blah. If you tell me what you can do, that's my goal.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Tell us what you can do back in Liberia, because Liberia is built. It's built for everybody.
Right.
It's built for you, Americans and Africans. That's what Liberia is built for.
Absolutely.
Okay, for us, like if you look at the Liberians, if you look in the Liberian community right now, people look at it and be like, okay, are you African or what? How's it supposed to look like?
Yeah.
That's why I ask people, how do African look like? We all the same people.
Yeah.
But Liberians, they actually like Black Americans. That's how we are. But because if you look at our history, most of the presidents, they're from right here, Georgia.
Yeah.
South Carolina.
Yeah.
That's where they're from. So they're all Liberians.
Right.
They are Americans. So it's just like when they were free from here, that's how you got places like, the Virgin Island, Brazil, places like that. They went back to Africa. They found a little green place, and they made that their own home.
Yeah.
So we got a lot of connection with United States and anybody in Africa.
Yeah.
So if everybody can listen, they can put their little 2 cents in there. They can help their little school and try to do their best and help them.
Absolutely, there it is. That's for sure, man. So what is the response from the Hispanic community? Is I know how we feel about when us as African Americans, we hear things as far as saying call us bad people and thugs and things like that. I actually had a kind of a argument or kind of a debate with a pastor. And he was talking about when Trump made the comment about Hispanics bringing drugs into the community, and I said, you can't blanket say everybody, man. That's just like saying black people are thugs. That's everybody. No, it's not the truth. And and we actually went back and it bothered me that he was saying, well, not all of them, most. I said, you can't even say most of them.
That's true.
So in fact that debate was last week. It got pretty heated. So So what is your how y'all feel about that? Basically.
Well, since I'm speaking on behalf of all Hispanics, no. I'm gonna try to incorporate what I've heard from the community, what I see like on Facebook and from friends and things like that. And I know when it first started happening, when he first started talking about Mexicans being rapists and drug dealers and things like that. Well, obviously everybody was upset. Everybody was outraged that this was this is how we were being labeled, you know. Is it true that Mexico exports drugs to the United States? Yes, it's true. But that doesn't mean that all Mexicans bring drugs to the United States, or that they're all drug dealers or they're all criminals.
And if they do bring it, who wants it? Who pays for it? Who wants them to bring it over here? You know what I mean? But go ahead. I'm sorry. I just had to throw it in there.
There's a demand
There's a demand for it. Come on now. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's clear.
There's a demand. And so, hey, I'm not in it.
Yeah.
Well, no, I mean, there's so many people that come to this country to work. You know, there's a lot of people that work in construction, that we have doctors, we have lawyers, we have people in the community that you may see them at a hotel cleaning rooms, but back in Mexico, they had a degree in law. They had a degree in medicine. My husband, for example, he's a engineer in computer science in Mexico, but when he came to the United States, he couldn't practice his degree, so he works in construction. And so there's all these stereotypes that, you know, Mexicans that come, they're ignorant, and they don't know how to do anything better than to just work in these you know, low paying or not so glamorous jobs. And the truth of the matter is, they're educated, the majority of them are, but you come and do what you have to do, you know, because when your degree isn't worth anything here, you know, for you to, you can't come and say, I'm a doctor, I want to be a doctor in the United States. You have to go through the degree again. You have to go back to college and take the American courses for it to be valid. So how do you all of a sudden throw away all your studies and then come and pay all this money again? So then you just do what you have to do, because you're here to survive, to provide for your family, to send money back home, so you don't have time to go back to school.
And plus learn the language. Plus learn a whole new culture. While you're trying to provide for your family, you're having to learn a whole new culture, a whole new language, a whole new way of life. But then you know, you may have kids, or you may have a spouse. You know, you get hungry. You know, you sort of live. Go ahead.
And a lot of times I hear people say, well, if you're going to come to the United States, you need to learn English. Till this day, I haven't met a Mexican who came to America without the intent of learning English.
Gotcha. I'm glad you said that, because I've heard that a lot.
Yeah, it's not that easy. You know, it's easy to say learn the language, but it's not easy to learn. You know, how long does it take us when we're born here and we go to school here? It takes us years to learn the language, you know, because we have to go through school, English, vocabulary, learning grammar and everything.
Absolutely.
So how do you expect somebody who's already just here to work to just all of a sudden speak a language overnight? My mother's been here all my life, you know. I'm not going to say how old I am, but for her it's been challenging because she came as an adult. She didn't go to school here, so she can't have the same level of English as somebody who was raised here.
And she was already fluent in up into her ages with Spanish, and then to come in and try to reverse all that. I've been trying to learn Spanish, and I read a couple books. I'm like, yeah, I'm done for now.
It's hard.
He said it's hard. Yeah.
Right. And so going back to the comments of, you know, a lot of people were upset, but we know the truth. We know the reality. We know what we stand for. And so those are comments that come from somebody who, in my personal opinion, is kind of already on the other side, you know, that they don't make the best choices.
It's ignorant.
And I'm kind of the type of person that I take the comments who they come from. And if it comes from someone who is really irrelevant to me, other than the fact that he's in an office that exists, to most of us, it doesn't really matter. What has affected us the most is the fear that it's created with all the immigration, with all the ICE, with all the rumors of there's going to be how do you call it?
The mass deportation.
The mass deportations. And it's affected the Hispanic businesses because, for example, in Wyandotte County, in Kansas City, Kansas, where we have that little area on Central Avenue, that corridor where it's mostly Hispanic businesses, when typically on Sundays, it's the place to go. You see all these cars, all these families cruising back and forth, doing business in this area, you know, helping the economy in our communities. Then now they're scared to come out on Sundays. And so now it's like a little ghost town again. And so it has a huge impact in our communities financially. You know, when there's no business, well, then the businesses have to lay off employees. And so it has a trickle-in effect that it has an impact overall. For example, this Walmart situation today, as I was scrolling through my news feed, I hear people commenting about how they need to go shopping for school supplies, but they're scared to death to go to the store to buy school supplies for their kids. And so it's really sad. It's really sad, and and you know, even I am like, okay, well, I'm not gonna go to the Walmart where all the Hispanics go. I'm gonna go to the one and the other side of
On
town.
the other side of town.
Where I'm not like
might be the worst one to go to.
no, I mean it sounds silly, but at the same time, these little
Absolutely.
thoughts start popping into your brain. Where can I go? Where can I not go?
Yeah.
Where am I safe? Where can I go with my cousin, who maybe my cousin is not here legally? Can
Yeah.
we go to this place without him being the target? And so it's even one of the comments that I read about in El Paso, that there may be more victims that haven't been accounted for, but due to their immigration status, they're afraid to go get treatment because they don't know if they're going to get deported. So all these kinds of things, you hear that.
Yeah, that is tough, and that's something why, like I said, I really reached out to you because, like I said, you know, we know how we talk in our circles, you know, but we don't hear a lot of time how Hispanics talks and how you guys talk in your circles and things like that, you know, and I think there's a time where, you know, you can either have a sense of pride and know what you stand for and know who you are, or you can fall apart and just internally think that I might be a bad person, you know. And I think what it sounds like to you is just like, you know, your community is kind of sticking together since, you know, it's become a sense of pride because you know who you are and you know from which the source comes from.
It's interesting because it can bring us together, but it can also separate us even more. For example, you know, just like I don't like for us to be categorized and all be lumped into one category, you know, there was a lot of comments, you know, like all terrorists are white, therefore all white people are terrorists and all white people are racist, and that's not the case. And so I actually put a comment on one of my social media saying, you know, let's not get carried away. You know, not all white people are racist. They're not all terrorists. There's a little bit of everything in every culture. Violence comes in all colors. Good people come in all colors. And so I even got backlash for that. Like, why are you defending them instead of defending your own people? And I'm like, no, that's not what I'm trying to do.
You get defending the good people.
Right. Yeah. I'm defending, you know, good people, not any particular group. And so, you know, I just feel like we have to treat each other the way we want to be treated.
Absolutely. And that's what I tell my kids. I say, you know, treat people how you want them to be treated. If, you know, somebody treats you well, then you treat them well. Somebody treats you bad, hey, don't roll over, you know, and give them the same thing to give back. And that's in a sense of pride and things like that. It makes you stand up for yourself. Anything you guys want to comment on that?
Man, I love Mexicans.
Yeah.
They're all my people. So they're hard workers just like we are.
Right on.
And I like to be around them. We play soccer together. My older daughter is mixed. She's Mexican.
We're going to take a quick break real quick. We're going to take a break. Mr. Walker, sorry to cut you off, brother. Yep.
Okay. Now, it's on hold. We'll be right back. We're going to take a break and bring it in right after that, about 90 seconds. Okay, so.
All right, we are back in the studio. Thank you for staying with us. Thank you for tuning in. You can always hit us at kuaw.org, or our phone is probably tied up now, but it's phone number 816-599-6893, 816-599-6893. Once again, this is Chris with Street Therapy KC. We had a panel. We were talking about Liberia and things like that, how you can reach out to Liberians and help with funding and schooling and things like that. And we're also talking to
Velia.
Velia. All right.
You can call me V if it's
Call her V. Velia. Yeah. Reach out to Ms. Velia about just what the response is in the Hispanic community, and she's from El Paso, lives here in Kansas City or Kansas, but just wanted to kind of get a brief synopsis of what's going on. We also have on the phone Dr. We also have Dr. Campbell. She's on the phone here. Dr. Campbell, how are you today?
Actually, it's Dr. Shepard.
Shepard, I'm sorry.
I'm doing
Dr. Shepard, how are you? I reached out to you earlier, and I know you're a counselor, but I want to know that, the situation that we're in right now and the climate that we're in as a nation or as a communities, I wondered if if we're going through a time warp, or we got is mental illness on the rise, or is it people are going through depression or hurting, or is it just pure evil? It's by that being your field. What do you think about that, Dr. Campbell?
Well, I was reading an article today where it was stating that mental illness was the reason for the El Paso and Dayton, Ohio incidents. But before I begin, I would like to express my condolences to the victims, family members, and friends of El Paso, Texas, and Dayton, Ohio.
Absolutely.
And in addition, I would like to let Kansas City know that my prayers are with you in the wake of the senseless murders occurring in your city, which is currently up to 85 for 2019. So I just want to let you guys know my prayers are with you. And, well, when I look at mental illness and research studies that have been conducted, for example, the National Institute of Mental Health sponsored a study of 10,000 people where they measured how many of these people were hitters, did they punch, did they shove, did they have violent attacks. And out of the 10,000 people, it was somewhere between 3 to 5.3%, with the exception of the ones that had suffered from schizophrenia or extremely bipolar. So that tells me that we're not looking at mental illness when we're looking at the mass murders. We're looking more into problem with gun safety laws, and we need stronger gun safety laws, and that's where that's an area of opportunity.
It is. Yeah, it is. It's funny you said that, because they were talking about gun safety laws, and it's, we can go back before, Sandy Hook, when the guy went and killed the little kids in the school. We can go back farther to with Columbine. They were talking about gun safety laws and things like that. It just seems like every time there's a mass shooting, that gets brought up, but it, for whatever reason, it drops between the people and the government, or I don't, an NRA or whatever case. For whatever reason, that ball gets dropped until something else happens, and then it comes back around again. Then we talk about it, then it dies off again. What are your thoughts on that, Doctor?
I feel that mental illness is being blamed for the negligence of the gun laws that are in place right now.
Yeah, I agree. And for people who don't know you, can you give a little bit of background for yourself and introduce who you are and things like that?
Okay. Once again, my name is Dr. Naomi Shepard. I'm a licensed clinical pastoral counselor. I also hold a doctorate of ministry in Christian counseling. I've worked with many youth and women, mostly in the field of being a support system to them in their career choices, and children in their decision making.
Right.
And so I have a lot of experience with that. I've worked in the Kansas City School District and as a substitute teacher, and helped a lot of students to, you know, boost up their morale.
Yeah, yeah, nice. And I know that we're talking about in general earlier just about different things, and I think drugs came up. Right now we see like the opioid is supposed to be like just on the rise. We see a lot of people that are getting hooked on opioid, whether it be through pain killers and just taking opioids and dying off of them. I know there's no one set thing that's the cause. People say, I think Trump said it was the video games. Stop playing the video games. And then we talked about drugs. So I know there's no one set situation, but how can we narrow down to where we can that you notice and that you see in your field that we can just kind of alleviate a lot of this, pressure?
Well, I could say that mental illness is treatable, and these are some of the ways. One of the main ways is what you eat. For example, we should be eating fruit, vegetables, water, baked or grilled chicken and turkey, and avoid processed foods. We should be exercising daily, or at least 3 to 5 days a week. If you see where you're running into a problem that you feel like you can't solve, because we have this stigma that we shouldn't go to counselors and talk with them, but I mean, it's the best thing for them because you can catch a problem at the onset as opposed to waiting until it gets to be too much and you can't handle it. Yeah. And the other thing is medication, but the medication, being make sure that if somebody's giving you medication that you're taking it properly, and just understand that with medication there are a lot of side effects. So those are the things that is important to pay attention to that will help to alleviate mental illness. Yeah,
yeah. Some of the things that can if you do maybe have a touch of mental illness. Now, question: you talked about the health and diet and things like that. Now, can mental illness be something that's passed on through your genes, as far as from your from your parents or from your grandparents? Is that something that can be passed down through your genealogy?
That is correct. It can be passed down from if you have a mother that has suffered from mental illness, or a father, or both. It can be passed down. Yes.
Yeah. That's interesting. I had a friend of mine that had he had a mental disorder, and we didn't know how to deal with it, and in fact, it's funny because, well, not funny, haha, but it's ironic that, growing up, when we knew that people had health issues or mental illness, we called them, they're the special ones, or they're a little crazy, or they're a little touched. Like, that's my crazy uncle, right. And it was funny, because we didn't understand it. But I guess now that we realize that it's really becoming a major problem, because it is getting unchecked and unnoticed, that it's also it's becoming dangerous, more and more dangerous, and so now it's not funny anymore.
That's true, and there is a wide range of conditions that affect mental illness, which include your mood, your thinking, and your behavior. It is classified as a medical condition, just like a heart disease or diabetes. In fact, nearly 1 in 5 people experience some form of mental illness throughout their lifetime. There are also 1 in 24 that have serious mental illnesses, and 1 in 12 has a diagnosable substance abuse disorder. So, I mean, it's prevalent.
Yeah. We got a panel here. I just wonder if there's any questions anybody might have for the doctor that they kind of, it's on their heart or mind.
For me personally, no.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll keep. Yeah, there was a panel of folks here, and we were just kind of hash it out and see what what's going on. And
now I can tell you some signs of mental illness. Some things that you could be looking for, and probably your family members and friends that can be somebody can think it's one thing, but it can be connected to mental illness.
Mm-hmm.
And some of these signs are obesity, fatigue, chronic pain. To give you an example for chronic pain, like if I have a student and they're like, my tummy hurts, and they continue to complain because they cannot express, I'm depressed,
Yeah.
or I'm having anxiety, so they'll say, my tummy hurts.
Yeah.
Tics and twitches, sinus problems, nausea, gastrointestinal complaints, weight loss, headaches. Those are some of the signs that you can look for in your family members and as well as children, especially children, because they don't know how to express that they have anxiety or depression.
Absolutely. A lot of times, sometimes when we hear these stories, you say, well, he was on Facebook and he posted some things that might have been disturbed, but we really didn't pay attention because that's just him. Or he was isolated. He always kind of stayed to himself, and he didn't really engage with anybody. Or he was bullied and he got enough being bullied, so he just went out and or his girlfriend broke up with him, or he had a bad home situation. So you hear a lot of different scenarios on how these people, how the person that deals with it, how they finally just click, I guess.
Right. Well, that's I'm happy you brought that up, because one of the research studies also indicate that 80% of people that have committed suicide have given a warning to their family member or friend.
Right.
And to me, every threat should be taken seriously.
Right.
Also, there's for the National Suicide Prevention Hotline, their phone number is 1-800-273-8255. If you feel that you are not, if you're feeling hopeless,
Yeah.
and you feel like you don't have any other choice, just make that phone call and talk with someone. I also would like to give you some of the signs of people that are suicidal, which include excessive sadness, hopelessness, sleep problems, sudden calmness after a period of depression. So that means that they have resolved what their decision is, and they are ready to make that next move of suicide.
Yeah.
If they're withdrawing, or they change in personality or their appearance, if they self-harm, or they have recently threatened to commit suicide, those are some of the signs that should be taken seriously. In addition, the most people that commit suicide are teens, young adults, and elderly. Women may attempt to commit suicide, but more men will follow through.
Hey, Dr. Shepard, I was wanting to know, as we're talking about the violence and stuff, does most mental illness, though, are they violent, or what's the percentage of mental ill people that are actually violent people, or is it maybe a misnomer to think that it always ends in violence?
Well, I don't have that percentage, but the research study I had mentioned earlier, sponsored by the National Institute of Mental Health, they surveyed 10,000 people, and out of those 10,000, only 3 to 5.3% were hitters. They punch, they shove, or they exhibit violent attacks. So it's a very low amount. Just say, for example, a lot of the people that are being targeted, mental ill people, are being targeted. They can be targeted by the police, because they don't know how to handle the mental illness, or I kind of feel like there should be more training with police on how to handle mental illness, so when they approach someone that is suffering from a mental illness, that their ultimate decision won't be to kill them.
That won't be their ultimate goal, is to terminate person, to kill them.
Right.
Yeah.
They can call in probably a negotiator or someone that specializes in that area that can come out and help them out with the situation.
Absolutely. Dr. Shepard, if there's someone that wants to reach out to you, connect with you, maybe go, I know you gave the number to the suicide number, but is there any contact that people can reach out to you if they're needing to talk to you or just contact you?
Yes, sir. Now, I can be booked virtually as well as in-person appointments. On all, you can reach me on all platforms, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at ShepherdSafehaven.com. So Shepherd is spelled differently. It's ShepherdSafehaven. In addition, you can look at my website, same spelling, ShepherdSafehaven.com.
Nice. Thank you so much. We're gonna move to another segment, but thank you, Dr. Shepherd, for calling in. We appreciate it, and we're gonna keep you posted. And hopefully, we can reach out to you in the future and just kind of get some updates and also get some more of your knowledge and experience, and so we can
Yes, sir.
kind
Thank you
of
for
get
having
through
me,
this.
and I'm hoping that possibly you can come back in reference to helping the children. They're just starting school to
Yeah.
deal with anxiety and all of that. So just give me a call, and I will be available to you. My prayers, once again, to Kansas City. God bless you.
Thank you so much. God bless you.
Thank you. Bye.
All right, that was Dr. Shepherd, man. She called in and gave a number to the hotline and wanted to talk about mental illness, how it affects communities and things like that. Any comments about mental illness in the circle here, my friend?
Well, one thing that I wanted to mention is that I don't know if this is something that everybody else has noticed, but it seems like lately everybody has anxiety. Like the youth, everybody's constantly saying they're anxious. I don't know if it's because of social media.
I was gonna say, yeah. It's funny you said that. I don't mean to cut you off, but I was recently with a young person the other day. And we were looking at their phone, just kind of messing around with the phones. And it was like, I didn't get 52 likes. I didn't get enough likes. I gotta post something else. I gotta post another picture. And I'm like, wow, is it really? I mean, really
It means
freaking
something.
out.
Right.
Freaking out because they didn't get likes or a certain amount of people. And I just thought, wow. And it took like 50 pictures to get that one picture that people accepted it and they didn't really like it. So yeah, you said one thing, for social media or
Something.
yeah.
Well, I think all the violence that's going on could be a thing with giving people anxiety too. You
Yeah.
turn on the news, it's one event after another. It's like this last weekend, shootings here in Kansas City, the
Yes,
mass
sir.
shootings on the news.
Absolutely.
Everyone should have a little anxiety kind
Right.
of building up there. As you mentioned of knowing if you want to go outside, do you want to go shopping? When you go in Walmart, will you be looking over your shoulder now a little bit? Those type of things, just from not just social media, but just all the news that we get about bad things
Absolutely.
happening.
Say when you go to I guess we can stick with Walmart. Say when you go to a Walmart and there's a kid back there playing with, a toy, and the toy hits the ground like pow. Do you automatically jump?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because you hear it, you think is it that much on the edge, and it might be. To the point where when you hear things, you do jump. And in fact, that's I think that's like a light form of PTSD. That's a post-traumatic syndrome.
Yeah.
That's yeah, right here in the United States. I mean, it's not as far as where it goes to the military you've gone at, but I mean, it's guns, it's violence.
Yeah.
That's a form of
See, it's
PTSD.
kind of a little funny for me to listen to violent stuff in the United States because when you're overseas, and for me coming here when I was young, I seen violence when I was age of 9, 10, 11. It was civil war, like everybody know it happened in Liberia. 15 year worth of civil war.
Yeah.
Who stopped the war was George Bush. And for me, everybody asks me, I don't like guns.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't own a gun. I don't like gun. My gun is the Bible.
Yeah.
That's my gun.
Yeah.
I can fight you in the old country way. We can put these dudes stuff, and we can go there. But guns, I don't do guns because I see what guns can do.
Yeah.
And that's some of the reason why I'm so passionate for these kids.
Yeah.
Because Liberia is a little country.
Yeah.
Same size as Iowa. Iowa just a little bit bigger than Liberia. And Monrovia is a little small, little spotty. You got over millions of people in Monrovia.
Wow.
And people down there, it's so many people then they don't have enough jobs. And some of these people cannot afford to keep their kids in. Can you imagine? Okay, for example, each child, the ticket of each child in that school is $120.
Yeah.
That $120 give them backpack, shoes, clothes, the whole year lunch.
Yeah.
Here, when I went to Metro Tech, it costs, I see my thing.
You get free lunch.
I get free lunch. You think it's free, but it's not free. So when you look at it, it costs just me alone in school at Metro over $1,000 just for them to feed me.
Yeah.
And in Liberia, it's cost these kids $120 for the whole year.
You spend $120 on
I can spend $120 on a quick trip, just buying donuts. What you call this place? KC's to buy KC donuts.
Yeah.
You can do that. So that's why I'm so glad that I'm here to talk to you guys about these kids. It's just a blessing for me to and people think Africa just a place that you go down and you just see zebras. And nah, it's not like that, people.
Yeah.
For me and myself, when I grew up here in Kansas City. All I know is Kansas City and Memphis.
Yeah.
Okay, that's where I grew up at. And coming here when I first got here in Kansas City in '93, they took me, from Africa, and I'm right in the school. People try to come to you African. Then when they get to know me, they kind of had a second thought about it.
Yeah.
It's the same thing that happened to me. I have not been to Africa since I was like 12 years old.
Yeah.
So I had to go back in 2017.
Yeah.
When I came back, I used to go to the store and buy $200 shoes.
Yeah.
But when I came back, my shoes don't even pay $40 no more, because I got a whole different way of thinking now. It changed the way that I look at life, and I hope as African Americans stop watching too much TV and go home and see what's going on for yourself.
Right.
Don't listen to he said, she said. No, that ain't gonna help you. For myself, I had to go back. Although I came from down, but I didn't remember nothing no more.
Yeah.
So when I go back there, I see I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
And these kids out here, I come out here, and then when the first day I came from Africa, I was going to my buddy Anthony's shop on 31st and 35th in Indiana. So I'm coming down the street. This kid walking with pants way down here.
Right.
So I'm looking like, God, please buy this kid a plane ticket and just let him go back home and see how he look like. When he come back, he'd
be different.
He'd be a different person, because the type of opportunity we have here, you don't take advantage of that. Right. That's why I'm so passionate now to help these kids.
Absolutely.
It costs $120, people. $120 for each kid for the whole year to take care of them. So I would be so glad if people can if it's $20, this money don't come to me. I don't even see the money. Yeah. So don't think the money come to me. I don't even see the money. It goes straight in this. This bank is connected with a bank in New York. Yeah. Everything in Liberia is connected with United States, because United States own Liberia. Yeah. Before you become president in Liberia, the United States got to approve it. Yeah. So that's how it goes. Yeah. Your own Oprah Winfrey. Her background's from Liberia.
United States got
it's owned by United States. So they speak English just like you guys over here, but they speak British English. Your United States got an independence on July 4th. Yeah. They just had their independence on the 26th. July 26th. So they got an independent from the same person, which is Great Britain. Yeah. And people don't know that if you ask anybody right away, United States got an independent, they don't even know. People just don't know. United States got an independent from Great Britain. Yeah. And we got our independent from Great Britain. Yeah. So they fought for United States in World War I, World War II. They're the only country in Africa would stand up for United States every time. Because they're all Americans. So, and they're down there, they need help. So that's why I need to step out here and try to talk to people out here, especially my Metro Tech people.
Let me get her in real quick.
I just wanted to contribute to that, because it's interesting how you mentioned how the United States got its independence from Great Britain and Liberia, and how everybody speaks English in Liberia. Yeah. Sorry if I didn't pronounce that right. But it brings us back to the point that English was not, English is not the native language of America. No. And that's another thing that we deal with every day, is that they want us to not speak our native tongue. I was born in the U.S., but Spanish was my first language. Yeah. And, I was lucky to go to school here and learn English. But when I speak to my grandmother, when I speak to my parents, when I speak to my elder aunts or, people in the family, I have to speak Spanish to them. And so that's one of the other things that we're facing challenges with, is that it's frowned upon for us to speak language, Spanish in public. And I understand the part where, you know, when I was growing up, if we were having dinner at my uncle's house or my grandmother's house, and they would tell us, don't speak English at the table because grandma doesn't understand. So I understand that aspect of where if we're out in public, we have to be respectful of those who don't understand what we're saying. But at the same time, I have to be able to communicate
Absolutely.
in a respectful manner
Absolutely.
with my family members as well. So it's kind of like we're kind of stuck in the middle with that, but I don't have any intentions of unlearning Spanish. but it's interesting how.
You know, like she
One
was just,
second. How can people reach out to you if they want to reach out to you as far as connect with them?
Well, I have a Facebook page that they can reach out to me, which is Belia Live, BELIALIVE. That's like the one that I have for public, for everybody who wants to contact me. And I also have another one called Belia KC. So you can contact me on those as well.
Okay. We're running short on time, so I want to kind of get that out there. How can people reach you, Kev?
You can reach me under Kevin Morgan under Facebook, or you can go to Sent1, SENT1. And I just really believe it's about unity.
Yeah.
You know, that's the big thing.
Yeah.
My wife's from the Philippines, and Leo, he cooks a great dish. It's a fish dish. It's spicy, but you'll love it. I love different cultures. So it's all about unity for me. And I just dropped a single called Picture Me Rolling in Heaven.
Yeah.
You can catch that on Spotify, all the platforms. I'm actually working on a new single called Together We Stand.
There it is.
So
That's
thank
it.
you.
That's it. Street Therapy. We'll see you next week. Thanks for tuning in. Peace. Bye.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.